You might not believe it, but 3 ordinary foods from your own kitchen can quietly support your memory and ease tired eyes while you sleep. No exotic imports and no pricey supplements, just real food you can find anywhere. If you're looking for natural, practical ways to stay sharp and confident after 60, you're in the right place. Be honest. At dusk, do edges blur and headlights bloom into starbursts? Do you catch yourself squinting only to feel that sandpaper sting later? Ever walk into a room and pause, trying to remember why you came in? Or feel a familiar name hover on the tip of your tongue? That isn't just getting older or I'm tired. Those are signals. Your vision and your brain asking for support. Here's the good part. Your body runs a night shift. While you sleep, cleanup and repair systems switch on. Neural connections reorganize, the eyes get a break from light stress, and the brain's garbage crew gets to work. Our role is simple. Give that night shift the right fuel. Not miracle pills, but everyday foods rich in the quiet essentials the retina and the mind tend to run low on. Today, it's 3 simple dried fruits. Each plays a different role, and the last one might surprise you because it supports not only morning clarity, but calmer evenings too. Start with dried apricots. They aren't just a sweet bite. They're a down-to-earth source of provitamin A and carotenoids, building blocks for protective pigments in the retina. In everyday language, they help your eyes adapt more comfortably when you move from bright rooms into twilight and can soften that swimmy feeling from oncoming headlights. They also bring potassium, which your heart and vessels use to deliver a steady supply of oxygen and nutrients to the optic nerve. When that supply is smooth, evening eye fatigue eases. And don't overlook the gentle fiber. It feeds the gut's friendly microbes, which in turn create short-chain fatty acids, tiny messengers that travel the gut-brain highway and help quiet background stress, so attention holds steady. Irina, 66, a music teacher, added 2 or 3 apricot halves about an hour before bed. After a couple of weeks, she noticed reading the messages at night felt easier. There was less squinting, and drifting off came more naturally. One person isn't a study, of course, but that kind of quiet shift is common when you give your night shift what it needs. Next come prunes. Everyone knows them for digestion, yet they're also dense with polyphenols, the plant compounds that help neutralize free radicals, the oxidative noise that wears on the retina and on neurons, especially after days of screens and city lights. Prunes also provide magnesium, a mineral that helps regulate the NMDA receptors involved in learning and memory. When you're replete, you tend to have fewer nighttime false starts in the brain, and you drift into the deeper sleep phases that consolidate memories and clear mental clutter. Because prunes deliver a steady, not spiky, trickle of carbohydrate, they make a good fuel for the brain's nocturnal cleanup crew. Peter, 72, a retired driver, swapped his late cookies for 2 or 3 unsweetened prunes. A month later, he found he woke more quickly, and his morning crossword felt less sticky. Again, small adjustments, steady payoff. The third member of the trio is dried blueberries, small berries with big support. If your store carries unsweetened dried blueberries or gently dried wild blueberries, they're worth keeping on hand. Their anthocyanins help tiny blood vessels and microcirculation in the retina, making evening strain a little easier to handle. The brain appreciates them too. They help cool the low-grade inflammation that likes to creep up with age and short sleep. Blueberries won't knock you out. Their gift is quality. They support the depth and efficiency of recovery once you are asleep. Many people report less graininess at dusk and a pleasant crispness in the morning. Zoya, 69, loved late-night shows but ended each episode with sand in the eyes. She switched from sugary cranberries to a small handful of unsweetened dried blueberries. 3 weeks later, she noticed less stinging and brighter mornings. Now let's turn these into a ritual you can repeat without thinking. The secret is rhythm and portion, not volume. The aim is to support, not overload. About 60 to 90 minutes before bed, right when your body naturally prepares for deep sleep, give yourself a tiny bowl, 2 or 3 halves of dried apricot, 2 or 3 prunes without added sugar, and roughly a tablespoon, a small handful, of unsweetened dried blueberries. If you can, do a little prep in the morning. Cover the apricots and prunes with warm water for 6 to 8 hours and drain them in the evening. Soaking makes them gentler on the stomach and helps your body access what's inside. When evening comes, eat the apricots, then 10 or 15 minutes later, the prunes, and a few minutes after that, the blueberries. If that feels fussy, simply combine all 3 and enjoy them together. Sip a caffeine-free herbal tea, chamomile, linden, or lemon balm, and skip honey at night. Leave 30 to 40 minutes before lying down so your digestion stays calm. This isn't about fistfuls of sweets. Small, consistent portions beat a once-a-week mountain. If you manage blood sugar, track carbohydrates, or follow a medical diet, stick to unsweetened options and adjust portions with your clinician's guidance. People often ask about substitutions. If your store doesn't carry blueberries, unsweetened dried blackcurrants or blackberries are reasonable stand-ins. If you don't enjoy prunes, 1 plain date without syrup can sit in, but it is sweeter, so keep the portion to 1. Some wonder when they'll notice changes. Think in terms of 2 to 4 weeks. Sleep and nutrition are cumulative. You are training a system, not flipping a switch. If you tend to wake at night, dim screens in the last hour before bed, take a short after-dinner walk to ease blood sugar swings, and avoid heavy meals in the 2 to 3 hours before lights out. Those small environmental tweaks synergize with your bowl. If you like structure, give yourself a simple 2-week experiment. For the first 3 days, launch the ritual exactly as described and jot a 2-line note each morning. How is sleep? How clear is my head? For days, 4 through 7, observe evening eye strain and morning clarity. If anything feels heavy, reduce any item by 1 piece and keep going. For days, 8 through 10, add a few minutes of dark time with lights low and screens off before bed. The eyes and brain appreciate the signal. For the final stretch through day 14, focus on consistency, same window every night, and keep those tiny notes. The act of noticing keeps motivation alive and helps you see that gentle improvements are stacking up even when you don't feel dramatic changes day to day. Most important, remember that your window hasn't closed. Even after 60, the brain can adapt and the eyes respond to care. You do not need to rebuild your life overnight. You need 1 small, repeatable act each evening. A tiny bowl holding 3 familiar foods, a warm cup of tea, and kinder light. That's how you give your body the conditions to do what it is designed to do. Restore itself. If you find this helpful, share it with someone who could use a softer night and a clearer morning. And start tonight with 2 apricot halves, a couple of prunes, and a pinch of blueberries. Sleep well and wake clear. This is general wellness guidance and not a diagnosis or treatment plan. If you have medical conditions or take medications, check with your healthcare provider before changing your routine.